Hey guys, welcome to the Comics and Coffee podcast. We're your hosts, Moses Lopez and Ricardo Feliciano. This is Volume 1, Issue 4. So Ricardo, how was your week been?
Good. At work, we finished up Q2, so the quarter, so we're kind of like going through that and all that boring stuff, slides of goals, what goals were met, what goals weren't met. Just boring work stuff, nothing too interesting. What about you?
My week has actually been like an emotional roller coaster.
Oh, why?
Many ups and downs. For one thing, we had a regional visit at work, not the vice president visit that I mentioned last week. I was so afraid that was going to go badly, but apparently it went well. I haven't gotten all the details, but it looks like that overnight shift I did was worth it.
So last week you mentioned a visit from the vice president.
Yes.
Instead, this was the regional manager.
Yeah.
The vice president's still coming?
Yeah.
So this was a surprise visit then?
Yeah, the vice president she doesn't want announced visits anymore. She wants to surprise us, catch us with our pants down, basically. So that should be fun. But yeah, that went well. My phone screen cracked.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I dropped it on the sidewalk, and
ouch.
It's not a big shatter, but
this is why walking sucks. It wouldn't happen in a Lyft or Uber.
Yeah. It's funny because I was getting out of the Uber.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah,
damn,
and then
okay. If you told me that ahead of time, I wouldn't have made that joke.
Yeah. It's not a big crack, but it's still enough that I can see it and pisses me off.
Does this mean you don't have insurance on your phone?
Not that I know of. I gotta check. I gotta call AT&T and see what the hell. But
there's normally two levels. There's like the basic one, which is if something goes wrong because of them, and then there's like the extra insurance, which is even if you do something wrong like this, they fix it.
If not, I can still live with this.
Yeah, well, you have a Galaxy Note, right?
Yes.
So it's a big screen, so
yeah.
I'm sure the crack shows up even more. Cool. So you want to get down to the news for the past week?
Sure. This first piece is a bit sad. Marvel Comics legend Steve Ditko, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I'm not too sure. He died June 29th at 90 years old. And he was one of the creators of Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. I'm pretty sure that hit everyone hard on social media. I saw a bunch of goodbye Steves and thank you Steves, and we even posted something ourselves.
Yeah, we did a nice post earlier this week, or was it?
I think it was the day.
It was
the day of.
The day after we recorded our last show. That's what it was.
I actually found out like a few minutes after recording, which I thought was.
Yeah, that's really sad. He wasn't too active recently in the last couple of years. As many people probably know now, he was the original co-creator of Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. So when I say co-creator, because Stan Lee created the concept of Spider-Man, but he needed someone to draw it. Mm-hmm. And Jack Kirby? Jack Kirby? Yeah. So he was doing a lot of the designs for Stan Lee at the time. And so Stan Lee had Jack come up with a design for Spider-Man and didn't like it. So they actually called in Steve to see what he would design instead. And now that's the Spider-Man that we know. So yeah, he's definitely a Marvel legend, but doing a little research into him, I actually saw that he had a few stints at DC as well.
Yeah.
Even DC was sharing some things about him this past week. So he's just a comic book legend. Like not Marvel or DC, he's a comic book legend at this point. A lot of the fun stuff we get to read about and look at in the movies or in the comic books and all this amazing artwork all came from his idea. So pretty influential guy. And it's sad. Unfortunately, these things happen. Yeah. But the day Stan Lee dies, because he's an old man.
He's old. He was older than Steve, actually.
Yeah, it's gonna happen at some point, but that's gonna be tough, man. Like we need to definitely do something, come together or whatever. Like it might be weird for even talking about it, but I just worry about it. That's something that's gonna be tough. But yeah, so rest in peace, Steve.
In lighter news, Captain Marvel finished shooting recently. The co-director Rob Fleck shared a picture on Instagram saying day 75 of 75.
I was going to say, because I know there was like two different posts. One of them I saw was like a calendar.
Yeah.
With things crossed off. And is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
It's good news in the sense that it gives us the idea that things are moving forward and the movie's getting closer to being released.
Hopefully we'll get a teaser trailer soon. Maybe at Comic-Con.
Yeah, okay. You know what? Ooh. Speaking of which, what's today's date? 13th or 12th? Today's the 12th?
Yeah.
So 3 days from when we're recording. When's the 15th?
15th is Sunday.
So yeah, today's the 12th, which is Thursday. So the 15th will be Sunday. Oh man, so before this podcast, this issue is released, Comic-Con tickets for New York will already have been on sale.
Right.
If you're listening to this and you didn't get them, sorry. Sunday morning, we'll be ready.
In less than a week, San Diego Comic-Con starts, and I'm stuck here.
I tried to get tickets for them 3 months ago and found that I was too late, but we already have that on on our calendar. So we should be, if everything goes well, we should not only be getting tickets for that, but we will be bringing Comics and Coffee podcasts over to San Diego Comic-Con next year when it happens. So hopefully we'll be recording there. And speaking of that, we're going to be bringing the podcast to the New York Comic-Con. So when the New York Comic-Con does happen, which is October, correct?
Yes, October 5th to 7th.
Yeah, so we will be recording from the convention. So that's going to be our first time doing that. So that's going to be pretty fun and maybe loud. Well, that might be tough to record, actually, but we'll figure it out.
We can always go in the bathrooms. Actually, no, those are pretty loud.
So you want to bring recording equipment into a bathroom? Do you want to get kicked out of Comic-Con?
The lines are long enough without us backing everything up.
A news item that I have that has been spreading everywhere. This actually was announced several weeks ago, but it keeps hitting the news cycle. So there's a subreddit on Reddit called Thanos Did Nothing Wrong. And it's full of Thanos fans who believe that his mission and everything like that is justified, and they agree with him. And while he's a villain and bad guy, and I don't always agree with him, sometimes when I'm sitting in traffic in my car, I'm not gonna lie, I think about it a little bit. If I could just snap, get rid of half these people. But as part of their mission of being diehard Thanos fans, the moderators of that subreddit have decided to block, ban, whatever, half of their users, all their users. The last time I checked, which is about 500,000 users.
That's a lot.
Just in the spirit of Thanos, for no actual reason. These people did nothing wrong. Just in the spirit of Thanos, they're going to ban half their own users from the subreddit. So I thought that was interesting and true fans, right? Little weird, but you can't say that they're not true fans doing something like that.
Speaking of Thanos dusting half the universe, it was confirmed that he also killed half the animals on the planet, and there was a picture with Captain America and Iron Man. Mm-hmm. From the scene from Civil War, he's like, "Did you know Rogers?" And it was
with tears in Tony Stark's eyes, right?
It was like, "Did you know he killed animals?" And on right above Steve, it said, "People who agree with Thanos." Yes, I knew, and then I just thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, and I find it strange that anybody didn't think it included animals.
I honestly didn't think of that until I saw the picture.
I'm not gonna lie, it took me a while to remember it's not just half the people on Earth,
but
half the people everywhere. So I guess I understand that.
There's an Iron Man writer, Bob Layton. He believes that soon Marvel and DC won't be publishing comic books anymore. He feels that nowadays people are just focusing on the MCU or the DCEU, which I don't agree with him at all. Like, yeah, the prices for comic books is rising, but I feel people will still go out of their way just to buy the comic books. And financially speaking, it does kind of make sense, but I still think there'll be the fans like you and me who will go out to...
Magic the Gathering is still going. They're still selling cards. I think sales in the past 15 years have dropped for comic books and demand has dropped, but I think we're actually hitting a renaissance somewhat recently. I don't know what recently is. I want to say in the last 6 years, maybe. I think they're starting to rise again. I don't think they'll ever be at the same level they used to be back in the day, but I think it's definitely increasing, and I think it's partially because of the movies where there's the new people, new generations getting into comics. And this is actually something I think me and you have talked about before. I think we're starting to see a new type of fan. I think the rise of these movies and like the MCU and the DCU have brought like the attention of comics to a different level to jocks and other groups of people who weren't traditionally associated with comics. So I think because of that, we're going to see a slight increase in comic book sales, but not from the same traditional fans from back in the day, like the traditional comic book geeks and stuff like that. We're going to see a new type of consumer, basically.
So basically, right now, reading comic books means you're popular, and how come that wasn't around when I was in high school and I got bullied for this stuff?
Yeah, exactly. But see, it's just times are changing, and they're definitely, which we'll get into in our main topic today, but superhero movies are definitely dominating the box office right now. So I think because of that, sales would go up because we're kind of reaching a new customer base here. And also, you talked about Captain Marvel just a little while ago. Another news item from Captain Marvel was Samuel L. Jackson, who is Nick Fury. He's going to be in this movie, which we kind of already knew. They announced recently that they have digitally de-aged him. I'm not sure if it's for the whole movie. I guess whatever scenes he's supposed to be younger, which we know this movie takes place in the past, so maybe the majority of the movie. But they de-aged him digitally by 25 years.
Oh, wow.
Which is a lot.
Yeah.
So part of me is nervous because if you remember the whole Justice League Superman mustache thing that happened, that wasn't done well.
No.
So that makes me worried. And I know I'm biased here, so DC fans are going to hate on me, but Marvel does things better. So I'm assuming that this would be done better. But also, I think about it, remember, Marvel's a part of Disney now. Disney also owns Lucasfilms. Mm-hmm. Lucasfilms re-digitalized all of, what's his face, that general that died? for, which movie was it?
Rogue One.
Yeah, so they regenerated his whole body and gave him new lines. So if they can do that, then maybe they could do this, and it's not going to look weird to see Nick Fury younger.
Not only that, they also did Princess Leia.
Yeah.
Towards the end. And in Ant-Man, they did Hank Pym. He was de-aged in those flashback scenes.
Huh.
And that looked...
I didn't think about that.
That looked spot on, so...
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I have no... There's not a doubt in me that they're not going to do well with Nick Fury's de-aging.
Hopefully for viewers, the customers, whatever, Marvel and DC can team up with this technology to let DC use it. Because it was quite obvious Superman's mustache, like that sucked. And that wasn't necessary. Like the budget of that movie, they shouldn't be able to do that better or just shave it off. Yeah. I know, what was it, Mission Impossible?
Yeah.
Those people didn't want him to shave it.
It was like in his contract that he couldn't shave it off.
Yeah, shave it anyway. Like, DC, you have the money. Like, break the contract. Yeah. Do something. Do something.
So in other news, Joaquin Phoenix is casted to play Joker in an origin film.
Now, is this going to be the same Joker from Suicide Squad?
I'm a little confused about that too, because I also heard that Jared Leto was still confirmed to be the Joker. But I think just because this is an origin film, we have the new actor. And I've honestly only heard of him in Brother Bear. He played the lead character. That's the only movie that I've seen from him.
Yeah, I got to do more research on that myself. I don't know. The last I heard was Jared Leto doing a solo movie. Because I heard, especially since Justice League didn't do that well. Mind you, it didn't do bad. DC's goal was to make it their MCU, make it their Avengers. Mm-hmm. So if you compare it to that, it did poorly. But otherwise, a lot of people went to see Justice League. I went to see Justice League, and I don't even see DC movies, really. So not only are they doing the whole ensemble thing with Justice League to kind of be like the Avengers, apparently DC wants to do the same thing with Suicide Squad. It's like they started with their Avengers there, and now they want to break them up and do solo movies for a lot of the different characters from Suicide Squad. Mm-hmm. So that's where I heard that Jared Leto was going to do the Joker, and potentially, this wasn't confirmed, potentially Will Smith might come off with his character as well, but there's still, a lot in there. But I thought that would be interesting, because they would have 2 ensemble movies versus Marvel, which technically Marvel has 2, but Marvel Studios only has the Avengers, while Sony is trying to do the Sinister Six, which is the other ensemble one. So still Marvel in a sense, but movie-wise, Sony was the one pushing that. That's the one advantage that DC has if DC can do both, because it sounds like they haven't really given away all of their rights the way Marvel did. So DC has a lot more potential to be doing these projects.
All right, so DC is also creating its own streaming service called DC Universe.
Wait. Marvel creates their own universe for the movies, because they have a lot of universes, but for the movies, and they call it the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. DC does the same thing, and instead of calling it the DCU, they call it the DCEU for no reason, just to say extended universe. Yeah. And now that they're making a streaming service, now they're going to call it DC Universe?
Well, yeah, but I don't think they're going to shorten it to DCU. I think they're just going to keep it as DC Universe. Unless fans shorten it, and then that just picks up.
That naming is weird for me.
Yeah, but the streaming service is set to open in the fall, and it's supposed to introduce shows like Titans, Doom Patrol, Harley Quinn, Swamp Thing, and my personal favorite, Young Justice Season 3, which I cannot wait for.
Catch me up on Young Justice. What is that?
Basically, I don't want to say Teen Titans because it's not Teen Titans, but it's basically all the sidekicks forming their own team, aside from the Justice League, and they do missions that the Justice League tells them to do. I don't want to say scraps, but it's the scraps.
That's what they are.
It's the scraps that the real Justice League doesn't want to do.
So this show's already out. The first 2 seasons. Yes. On what network channel or whatever?
I don't know if it's still on Netflix. It might be, but I know you could look it up on Showbox or any other free streaming services.
Because I'm wondering if, with this new service, if they're going to pull it from other places that the show is at. Like, if it was on Netflix and the service comes out, are they going to pull it from Netflix, or you have to get the DC Universe service to watch it? Because that would suck. Honestly, I have
From what I read, I think they're just streaming Season 3 of Young Justice, so maybe they won't pull it, but hopefully they won't pull it.
Yeah, because I have Netflix, and I don't want to pay for something else. Unless this is free, because, Sony is not doing too well, but Sony has a service called Crackle. Oh. And Crackle is a streaming service, and what's cool about Crackle is that they can easily provide a lot of movies and shows, because Sony makes movies and shows, and it's free. And the reason why it's free, because Crackle is basically a digital version of a TV channel. It's funded by commercials. Oh, okay. So you do have commercials on it. So it's not like Netflix. So you have commercials on it. But it's free. To me, that's fine. I'm cheap. So if I can... That's what I've always liked about Crackle. So if they were to do it like Crackle, that'd be cool. But otherwise, I really don't want to pay for another service. So hopefully it's not exclusive to their service. But, we'll see. So you have Harley Quinn written now. So that's a Harley Quinn...
Animated show, yeah.
Solo show?
Yeah. Well, no, I believe it's her and the other female villains. I know they're trying to get like people's attention.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the exact synopsis is of the show, but I just know it's her trying to get those female villains to group up to do whatever it is that they do to wreak havoc, I guess.
That'd be cool, because with Wonder Woman doing well, and then I know for Black Panther, there's been talks about the women of Wakanda possibly getting their own movie or their own spin-off.
Dora Milaje, I think
they've done around the whole Black Widow movie for the longest. And while we're definitely going to see a rise now of women-based movies, which is awesome, what's cool about Harley Quinn is it's the villains.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a nice little twist there. All the female villains teaming up. That's pretty cool. I'll be excited for that. And so anyway, you said one of the shows that's going to be on the service is Titans, right?
Yes.
Which I believe leads us into our main topic for today. So you want to get into that?
Okay, so for Titans, that is a live-action DC show based on Teen Titans. There's not rumored, but I think it's on different websites. I've only seen 11 episodes, but I've seen people confirm that there was 13 episodes. So it'll be our first live-action for Teen Titans. The animated show was pretty amazing, and Teen Titans Go is there.
Listen, I don't really like DC things. I love Teen Titans Go. Teen Titans Go is hilarious. It's hilarious.
It has its moments, but because of that show, Young Justice was canceled, and we had to wait this long for season 3.
Wait, what do you mean because of that show?
They removed Young Justice and another TV show to make room on Cartoon Network for Teen Titans Go.
Which tells you that Teen Titans Go is better. Do you think they're going to remove the better show?
God.
No, they removed the worst show.
One thing that excites me is that it's been confirmed that it's not for children, that it's very dark and very vulgar. It has a bunch of F-bombs and they curse a lot and you see bones being snapped and whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So one thing that leads me to believe that why they're doing that is because they're only streaming it on the DC Universe app, so that they don't have to go through like TV networks.
This is the advantage of how Netflix has changed the industry. Well, really it started with HBO. Even though it was on TV, but HBO did this first. Netflix, they set their own rules because it's their own service. And I appreciate that. Not that I need every movie and show to curse and have sex and have gory things. I like to be able to see it when it adds to the show or the movie or the plot, you know?
Exactly.
For example, I always bring things back to Marvel stuff. I'm sorry. But, for example, Logan. When Logan came out, Logan was rated R.
Yes.
Wolverine is that guy. Like, he's not proper. He's not politically correct. You can imagine him cursing and doing this and that. And with his claws, blades, whatever you want to call them, like, the stuff that he does. So having an R-rated movie for that was perfect. So Raven, I can imagine if, she doesn't have a PG restriction, Raven might be able to do some cool stuff too. So
definitely. That's actually one thing that I want to get into. They say that they differ from Marvel TV shows because they're not going to be realistic, as in a sense where they're not afraid to go above and beyond with special graphics, like not explosions, but like mystical powers and whatever. Like, they can show Robin beating up a bunch of guys, but they'll also show Raven using her powers or Starfire using her blasters to knock people over or do some damage. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think that's just also a comparison between DC and Marvel, although maybe I'm oversimplifying it, but I feel like many characters on the Marvel side have more natural, plausible ways of getting their powers.
Yeah, like super serum or like...
Yeah, like somewhat science-based. It's still sci-fi, don't get me wrong, but somewhat science-based, where a lot of DC's characters, not necessarily.
Yeah.
Like, Superman, he's just...
an alien.
Yeah, like, that's fine. We get a little bit of everything this way, so I think that's going to be pretty cool. And also, I think it just reflects the way DC does things because they've already doing that in the movies. Their current movies right now tend to be darker. I don't know about how Aquaman's going to be, but the Batman trilogy, but Batman's always dark, but the Batman trilogy, the Superman movies, Superman vs. Batman, it tends to be fairly dark compared to the Marvel movies. So DC's already doing that, so they're just going to apply it to the TV show. My only concern, which we're about to get into next, is that they're launching this and the Teen Titans Go movie in the same year. I feel like there's just a lot of Teen Titans stuff all at once, and they're drastically different. So that's going to be strange, but hopefully it works out for them.
Well, I guess Teen Titans Go is mostly for the children.
What you trying to say? You calling me a child?
I know one of the episodes for Titans is titled Jason Todd, which I am a huge Jason Todd fan. I don't know if you know, he is the...
No, who's that?
He is the third Robin, if I'm not mistaken. It's Dick Grayson, Tim Drake, Jason Todd. Yeah, he's a third Robin. And in the comic books, he eventually becomes the Red Hood. One of my favorite DC animated movies is Batman Under the Red Hood, which tells Jason Todd's story. He's just all around a pretty cool character. Like, his costume design is cool and everything.
Is that Robin in the show, or is he just also going to be there?
No, in the show they have Dick Grayson as Robin, but in the show he looks old, and I believe they already confirmed that right now he's tired of Batman being his sidekick and all that. We'll probably see towards the end of the season him becoming Nightwing.
I hope so. We don't see enough Nightwing. Nightwing's awesome, and we don't see enough of it. They had the little teasers in the Lego Batman movie. Remember when they had the little like costume show thing? So we had a little teasers there, but we don't see enough Nightwing. And honestly, I don't know if we're asking for too much here, but I would love to see a Nightwing movie.
I don't think that's asking too much at all.
Mind you, Batman's great, but we've had so much Batman, and Batman keeps changing. It would be nice to take a little break and maybe do a Nightwing movie and like a live action Batman Beyond movie.
I know they hinted at Nightwing in Dark Knight Rises with Christian Bale. Mm-hmm. Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Joseph, yeah.
Yeah, his character was named Robin.
Yeah,
and people were assuming that he was going to be casted as Nightwing.
It's one of those things. At least for that trilogy, that director, they had no intention of doing it. It was one of those teasers that they leave open for the studio.
Yeah.
So the studio could then make another series of movies if they wanted to, which I really hoped, and they never did.
Yeah, it was also like a nod to fans, like Zendaya's character in Spider-Man: Homecoming. How her
that was messed up. Yeah. That was messed up because they said she's not actually Mary Jane.
Yeah, it was just like a little hair.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I felt offended.
the actor who's playing Jason Todd, his name is Kern Walter, and he looks pretty young in the show, so I don't think he's going to be the Red Hood immediately. So yeah, we might see him play Robin.
We might get to see two Robins then. Definitely, in the show. Yeah. The outbound one and then the inbound one.
Yeah.
I think that's a good place to start it, so that's exciting. Unfortunately, if they do make these things exclusive to this network, I think we're going to have to get it.
Yeah.
We're going to have to watch these things, so we're going to have to get it.
So one thing I found funny about the actor who's playing Beast Boy, his name is Ryan Potter, and a little while after Batman vs. Superman came out, he submitted an audition tape to Ben Affleck saying, "Hey, let me be your Robin." And every Batman needs a Robin. And he was auditioning for Tim Drake, but I find it funny that they cast him as Beast Boy. Like, no, you can't be Robin, but here, take this other character.
I don't want to dive too deep into this because it's already been covered a lot in the news and press. When the news of the show first was dropped several months ago, How do you feel about the live action in terms of casting and maybe costumes? Although we haven't seen all the costumes, full polished, ready to go to TV costumes. But
I know that first picture that was leaked that had Starfire, Raven, Beast Boy, and I think there was a fourth person. I'm not too sure. I hated that picture, but it turns out that's from a scene from when they go to a disco party. So Starfire's look actually makes me think, okay, she looks like that because they were at a disco party.
Okay, so that's not the normal costume.
Yeah, maybe she looks so much better, which I actually... Okay. I'm happy that I found out because I honestly hated that costume of Starfire especially, but yeah, so maybe they'll give us something better. I know people were like the racist fanboys, they'll complain, oh, that can't be Starfire because she's African American. No, that's not the case. Like Will Smith played Deadshot. He's not African American characters in the comic books, but he did an amazing job.
So I will say it doesn't get me mad, but I would prefer if they didn't change
the costume.
No, I would prefer with her that they didn't change the color of the person. Starfire's not normal colored white skin either.
Orange.
Yeah, so why don't they just make her orange? I'm sorry, but look at Guardians of the Galaxy with Gamora. They made her green. Why make her white or black? Make her orange.
Yeah. She is an alien.
Even if an African American played her, that's fine, but make her orange. Just make it accurate. To me, it's just about accuracy.
Zoe Saldana, isn't she African American or she's?
Yeah, she's black. Yeah. I forgot about that because I just see her green at this point. But yeah, that's my thing. Although I guess a lighter skin makes more sense. It shouldn't be white or black. It should just be orange.
Yeah, exactly.
And then speaking of Beast Boy, at least in the screenshots, the camera stills that I've seen, Beast Boy wasn't green.
Yeah.
Does he turn green?
He's supposed to be green.
Because if they say this is not going to be realistic and you're going to be more artistic, then he should definitely be green. Yeah. Again, look what X-Men did with Beast and all that.
Nightcrawler, they made him blue.
It's definitely doable.
Yeah.
I can imagine the way they did Nightcrawler in the X-Men movies, the newer ones. Mm-hmm. Imagine that for Beast Boy, but green.
Yeah.
That style, a nice style. That seems fairly realistic. Yeah. Although it'd be harder when he shapeshifts into certain animals. That's understandably more difficult.
As long as that looks perfect on camera, or at least pretty decent, then I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Now I don't know what the plot is going to be too much about, but I'm pretty sure it's probably heavily revolve around Raven, which we've seen in many of the animated shows and the TV shows.
Which is good. She's my favorite. Robin's my favorite for other reasons because Robin's the leader. I always like the leader, and he's the funniest probably. But Raven, I think, is the coolest.
Yeah. She definitely has probably the most powerful.
Yeah, potentially the most powerful. I love her attitude. I like the way she dresses. She's just cool.
And with saying that they won't be too realistic, maybe they'll introduce Trigon, which is Raven's father, and he in the animated movies he can enlarge himself to the size of a building, and he has multiple eyes. He's a big red devil, basically. maybe we'll get to see him. Maybe he'll be what brings the Titans together and causes them to save the world.
Curious, so you said you think 13 episodes, but maybe 11. Do you know if they're doing this on their own streaming service, are they going to release it like Netflix, where they drop all episodes at the same time? Or are they going to do the traditional model of like one episode a week or every other week?
From what I read, I think they're just going to do like now Netflix does, they'll release the whole season at a time.
Yeah. That's always tough. It's good and bad.
Yeah.
It's good because you get to see everything at once without waiting, and it's bad because I have a job.
Yeah.
And, I'm going to stay up and watch it, so...
I mean, that's the only good thing. I prefer to binge watch TV shows. Like with The Flash, I never saw them on CW. I just waited for them to be on Netflix.
When they release 13 at once, that's a lot for me. If I can, I like to binge watch 3 to 5 a day and break it up like that. But there was one, what was it, when The Punisher was released.
Yeah.
I watched, I think, the first 7 that one night.
Yeah.
So, but regardless of how they release it, I'm going to be watching it. I'm really excited for it. Aside from the show, we're going to be covering the new movie, but anything else you want to talk about with the show?
Nothing much. I'm just excited to see it because I did enjoy Gotham a lot, so it'll be nice to see another dark live action show.
That's one thing I will say. I've heard so many great things about Gotham and Green Arrow.
Green Arrow I've never seen.
I've heard great things about both, and I've yet to watch both, so that's something I need to put on my list.
No, I've heard Green Arrow tends to get old or repetitive, but I've only seen The Flash, and that one is great.
Well, what I heard about Green Arrow, I think it's about Green Arrow, where they have a lot of cameos from other characters.
They do, yeah.
And I love that.
It does
Movies, TV shows, I love cameos. Like some of my favorite episodes of Scooby-Doo are when Batman and Robin join. Like, I just like crossovers, and it's just, I don't know what it is to me, but it's just so exciting.
Yeah. I know they have a crossover with the cast of Supernatural, which I believe is in season 13, which is what I'm on now.
Really? Nice.
So I really get to that.
Cool. So not only is DC coming out with the Teen Titans new TV show called Titans, which is going to be a live action show, they're actually releasing this month a new Teen Titans Go movie, or a Teen Titans Go movie, I should say. So this is a Teen Titans Go movie. So this is based off of the cartoon series that they currently have, which is great. Great. Because it's definitely childish. It's a cartoon, but it's definitely like a kiddie cartoon. Yeah. But I like it because you get to see, superhero movies are always so serious and stuff like that. So you get to, it's not a movie, but you get to see the funnier side of things. And they're all young, so they get that younger audience too. But it's like SpongeBob nowadays. SpongeBob's for kids, but they have adult jokes in it.
I love SpongeBob.
Exactly, and I love Teen Titans Go. So the release date for this movie is going to be July 26th, so later this month.
That's pretty soon, actually.
Yeah, and which worries me because I feel like I haven't seen a lot of commercials and ads and posters for this movie.
Because it's bad.
No, it's not. A little bit about this movie. So first of all, when the first trailer dropped, which I think was back in January, February, I didn't really care. When I saw the headline, I was like, I don't really care to see the movie. But then I saw the little preview trailer, and that movie announcer guy with that deep voice and all that?
In a world.
Yeah, that guy. So he said, because if Aquaman can get a movie, anyone can. And that told me everything I need to know about this movie. Because for people who don't know, the Aquaman that was in Justice League is getting his own solo movie. And that was announced shortly before this movie was announced. And that's hilarious. And that's the kind of humor that this movie is going to have. So if anyone hasn't seen the longer trailer, it's like a 2-minute, 30-second trailer, I believe.
Yeah, around that.
It's available in a few places, including IMDb. We'll have a link in the show notes for you. But this trailer is hilarious. Like, the general plot of this movie is they're basically looking at real life. Mm-hmm. So the whole movie starts with Robin and the rest of the Teen Titans realizing that everything's about superhero movies. Mm-hmm. This person has superhero movies, Superman, Batman, all these people. So Robin's like, we should have a superhero movie. We're superheroes. We should have a superhero movie. So they want to go to Hollywood. They want to go find a director and get a superhero movie done. And then, of course, in a typical superhero movie fashion, a villain arises, kind of brings them off their path and all that kind of stuff. And now they need to save the world kind of thing, right? What makes me so excited is that at the beginning of the trailer, like during the trailer when the movie's first starting out, they're talking to these different people. So Superman's there, and Superman's talking to Robin, like, you guys don't do anything. Like, you guys don't actually save anybody. So when Superman tells them they don't really save anybody, Cyborg brings up this whole story about how they saved somebody. And at like a restaurant, something like that with food. And Superman goes, but you didn't actually save anybody. And he goes, we saved our appetites for dessert. Like, this movie's just so funny. And then at the end of the trailer, they introduce Slade. And they run into the room and they look at him and I was like, Deadpool? And Slade gets so upset because he goes, why does everybody just assume Deadpool? And I love that because not only is it funny, but I love when Marvel and DC make jokes or references to each other. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I'm really excited for this. As I said, there's going to be Justice League characters into this movie. So Superman will be in the movie. He's voiced by Nicolas Cage. Batman will be in this movie, which I did not see in the trailer. I did see in the trailer
The trailer in the trailer.
Exactly. There's a trailer in the trailer, and you see Batman there, although I didn't hear him talk. But that's, ironically, to me at least, going to be played by Jimmy Kimmel. Out of everyone who could play Batman, did not think it would be Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah. But I think that's hilarious. Wonder Woman will be played by Halsey. And then Green Lantern will not be played by Ryan Reynolds. Green Lantern will be played by Lil Yachty, which, God. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I think I called it the curse of Green Lantern. Why the hell is he playing Green Lantern? Why is he in movies? I don't know. Besides the point.
Didn't they mention the first Green Lantern movie in the trailer as well?
Yeah. Yeah, which Green Lantern said, even I have a movie, but we don't talk about that. I don't know. This movie's going to be hilarious. If you have kids, definitely bring the kids. They'll enjoy it. But all adults will enjoy this movie as well. If you just like comics, you like DC, it's funny. It's enjoyable. It's not going to be serious. It's not going to be dark and anything like that, like any of the other DC movies. But that's what I like. Part of what probably sparked this movie was the success of Lego Batman. Oh, did you see Lego Batman?
That one was hilarious.
Lego Batman was awesome. I saw the original Lego movie first, and then I saw Lego Batman, and they just keep hitting out the park. Their humor is so funny. Lego Batman did really well, and it's that same thing. It's that younger, humor, which still adult jokes thrown in.
Yeah.
And I believe the success of that movie is partially why they made a Teen Titans Go movie. Not Legos, but otherwise same idea. Mm-hmm. For kids, but also for adults, cartoon fun. So I think that helped bring this movie to light. We talked about the plot. Another character that's going to be in it is Kristen Bell, who's in so many different animated movies nowadays. She's going to be voicing a character called Jade Wilson, which is the director that they're going to be trying to talk to get this superhero movie done. Oh, okay. I don't know much else about her character other than that, but thought I'd bring that up.
I honestly thought that was a typo that you meant to write Slade Wilson, because that's Slade's real name.
Maybe I should look that up now. But and aside from that, Slade himself, who's not Deadpool in this movie, is going to be played by Will Arnett. So there's be some big names in this movie. And then, of course, the main Teen Titan Go characters are all going to be voiced by the original voice actors from the TV show, which is great, because if they didn't, that'd be very disappointing. Yeah. If they change mediums, from the show to a video game and the voice is different, I understand. But for the movie, I'd want all the original voice actors. So this is pretty cool. I'm really excited about this. Some people say Teen Titans Go aren't Teen Titans, but I don't care. It's hilarious. It's funny. It's good. It's the same thing. I'm a big fan of Final Fantasy. My favorite Final Fantasy game, by the way, is Final Fantasy VIII. For anybody listening, 8 is the best, not 9. My second favorite is Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, which was a remake, kind of Final Fantasy Tactics, which came out for PlayStation, but this one came out for Game Boy Advance. Oh. And similar to this, it's like a cartoon version of the series Final Fantasy Tactics. Mm-hmm. It's like a cartoon version of all the characters, and they're all younger and comic-y version of the series original game. Mm-hmm. And same thing, a lot of people were upset about the game because this is not Final Fantasy Tactics. And you're right, it's Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. Same thing. This is Teen Titans Go, and it's awesome. And I'm still going to enjoy this movie. And it's coming out later this month. And I am now an AMC Stubs A-list member, so I get to watch 3 movies a week, right? I think it's a week. 3 movies a week that's included in my membership. So there's no reason for me not to see this movie, so I can't wait. You saw the trailer, right? What you think?
It did look pretty funny, and I will say that it does look like it'll have its moments that'll make me laugh. Also, it looked like they break the fourth wall a bunch, and I honestly like that, because like in the Deadpool movies, he does that a lot. And in the TV show, I saw this one scene where there was one character who tells the main 4 that, oh, you guys are a mistake, this and that. And then he shows them clips of the original Teen Titans show. Yeah. So I thought that was hilarious. That, oh, look, that's me.
But see,
wow, we look so cool.
But see, that's what I'm saying. That's the kind of humor I like. There's an episode, I cannot for the life of me remember what season or episode number, but there's an episode of Teen Titans Go where Robin's in his room and he's walking around, and I forget what happened in the plot, but that's besides the point. As he's walking around the room, you don't see the whole poster, but you see maybe half or a quarter of a poster on his wall, and it's a poster of Nightwing. And I was like, that is awesome. Like, they don't even talk about it during that episode, but you just see it's like a little Easter egg for us, and it's fun. It's just fun. At the end of the day, isn't that what comics are about? Fun, enjoyment, entertainment, right? I'm really excited, and I don't like Justice League and those other kind of movies that DC's been putting out. I think they're doing an amazing job with Lego Batman and this movie, which I haven't even seen yet, but so far it looks like it's going to be really good. So I definitely think they should keep focusing on this kind of stuff. And we need a Lego Batman too. Anything else?
No.
All right. We have another segment, which we don't usually do, but we finally have some comics and coffee news, so like some meta news about yourself, which is that on our website, if you go to comicsandcoffee.com, we now have an events page. There's not a lot. There's only 2 events listed right now, so New York Comic Con and the Greater Philadelphia Comic Con, but it's there. We'll, from now on, have upcoming events on that page. It's just comicsandcoffee.com/events. We are asking you guys and girls, or women, if you know an event that we don't have, please let us know. Contact us on the website, in the forum, Twitter, wherever you can contact us. Let us know and we'll add it. Or if you're hosting an event yourself, let us know and we'll add your event. As long as it's upcoming, at least 2 weeks out, let us know. We'll add it to the website. And we're going to be growing that page as we go, adding more information about, certain details for events, pictures and stuff like that. But for now, it's just a list. But we have a new events page there. Awesome. I believe that's our show. You can find our show notes on the website, comicsandcoffee.com. Just click podcast right at the top. Click the episode, and there will be show notes for this episode at the bottom of it. If you have any questions or feedback, you can contact us on Twitter at comics_N_coffee. On Facebook at facebook.com/comicsandcoffee. We're on Instagram at comicsandcoffee. We're on YouTube as well. Just search Comics and Coffee in the search bar on YouTube. Please, and also our contact page on our website. Please let us know if you have any questions. If there's stuff you want us to talk about on the show, whether it's topic ideas, certain titles for comics, anything like that, just let us know. We'd love to hear your feedback. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for listening.
As always, have a good night.
Piss off, Ghost!